Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, April the 13th, race number 7 at Keeneland. Nice feature as the spring meet continues. We're going 1 mile and a 16th with the short stretch. $120,000 for this 2 other than allowance with a $62,500 claiming option. Let's take a look at this field. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us when you've made your final determinations. You can play this race and the entire Keeneland card on Wednesday with your DRF Bets account. Stage Raider, the number 4, 3-1 on the morning line. 1 of 2 in here for Chad Brown. Chad excels with blinkers on. That's the move Stage Raider is getting. This horse was super impressive at Keeneland last spring.
He was. That was his maiden win. It was over a wet track, and it was around 1 turn going 7 furlongs. He was really impressive, though. He's off the layoff in his most recent start at Gulfstream Danbury. Just did not have a good trip. I suspect he'll run better here, but this is a tough spot.
And there appears to be a good amount of speed in this race as we take a look at the Time Form US pace projector. Buck Moon, the number 1, has shown big speed at Turfway over the poly track. Figures to take advantage of the inside post by showing speed. Laughing Boy was part of a wicked hot pace last time out at Churchill Downs and paid the price. He's hoping that they don't go as fast here.
Yeah, and they might, though. I don't necessarily disagree with this pace projector. We'll see how it all plays out. I think Buck Moon is going from the rail. Laughing Boy got really good at the end of his 3-year-old campaign, and he did so while utilizing his early speed, Dan. Even Pirate's Punch could be forward. I don't think he needs to be on the lead, but he's going to be forward.
Buck Moon is the number 1, and while he is 0 for 2 lifetime on dirt, that was very early in his career sprinting before he was gelded. He's a different horse now, and he ran some nice races at Turfway over the poly track, although last time it was a concerning effort. He was favored, he made the lead, and he was pulled up while he was on the lead on the turn like something went wrong.
It seemed like something went wrong there, but Larry Ravelli sort of enters him right back here down on relatively short rest, so I'm assuming all is okay with this horse. Prior to that last one, he was in really good form. He's got good speed from the rail. As you mentioned, they've run him on dirt twice. It was early on sprinting. He didn't run terrible in either of those races. So I don't necessarily feel like he's a huge synthetic move up. There are things to like about this horse, and he might be a fair price.
The number 2 is Who's the Star, stepping up in class for trainer Mark Cassie off a 1 other than allowance victory at Tampa Bay Downs. Let's watch that race. He was shipping up Gulfstream Park, stretching out around 2 turns, and you see Who's the Star dive down towards the inside, Mike. This trip worked out very nicely for him, and he gets away late.
Yeah, I like the way he finished it. I also felt like he got a really nice trip in this race against a field that's, I'll say, modest. At best. He ran fine in this race. It was a step in the right direction for him. I don't think I'd bet him off of this one, Dan. I didn't necessarily love what he did in California, last year. We'll see if he can improve again. I think he has to.
Portos is the number 3. This horse is returning off a lengthy layoff for Todd Pletcher. We haven't seen him since June of 2021. He was graded stakes placed as a 3-year-old in 2020. Stakes placed going 1.5 miles last year. I think more distance is what he wants. I think if Portos is going to make a name for himself this year, it's going to be in those longer distance races, 10 furlongs and up.
Yeah, I agree with you there. This is a horse who's won twice, both at 9 furlongs. I guess the short stretch of this race, too, sort of also works against him. They ran him over this distance early on in his career. He got far back out run early. He was making up ground at the end, but it was way too late. He just ran out of time there. It feels like that could happen to him again here. They might go fast in front of him, though, Dan, and a fast pace helps this horse.
And he faced good horses last year. 3rd to Lone Rock in that stake race going long at Churchill Downs. Last time at Belmont going 1 turn. Not sure that's really going to be his best game. And the 3rd horse came back to run 2nd at Saratoga in a 2 other than with a 95 buyer. Pletcher's just fine off layoffs. Stage Raider is up next. Lightly raced for Chad Brown. The blinkers are coming on. Something tells me we haven't seen his best just yet. At Keeneland last year, he was very green. He was very impressive. He backed that race up within Nice performance at Belmont, and then the layoff. Something had to have gone wrong physically for Chad to put him on the shelf after 2 big wins.
Yeah, there's no doubt that something had to go wrong with this horse. Just those 2 starts in the spring, and then he went away. This is, of course, the half brother to Justify, so I'm sure they had high hopes for this horse. And it looked like he was going to be good, Dan. He was really impressive when he broke his maiden over the strike. I know it was a wet track sprinting. That was an impressive win. His figure dropped a lot when he won the 1-turn mile at Belmont, but he ran a lot better than the figure suggests. The pace wasn't that fast. He had to wait basically down to the 8th pole before he was able to squeeze through on the rail. And once he got through in that race, he settled that thing very, very quickly. It was another nice performance for him. And then he came off the layoff last time, Dan. He bumped into Prevalence, who we just saw come back here and win the Commonwealth last weekend. This horse stumbled at the start. He got bumped up the backstretch and knocked back to last. And from there, he just had no chance in that race. He's going to run a lot better in here. Maybe it won't be enough to beat this field, and he's going to be a short price, but he's going to run better here.
Friends, Mike's absolutely right, especially about the trip last time out at Gulfstream. Just click on the short comment in your Formulator past performances. You'll be able to see both the pan and the head-on replay for Stage Raiders' last race. He was favored against Prevalence, who won the Commonwealth with a 98 buyer last week, and he just was eliminated in the opening furlong. He still passed a few tired horses in the stretch and gained a lot of fitness from that race. Militarist is up next. Militarist is a horse coming off a layoff as well. He easily outran his 86-1 odds, won a non-threatening 4th in the Clark last time out. He's been tested since being returned to dirt. He seems to fit well at this class level, Mike, and I think the pace setup works for him. It's just all about how is he going to come back off the layoff.
Yeah, there are things working against him. You're right. The last 2 dirt starts, like just against much better horses, and he never factored in there, but he also, I guess, wasn't embarrassed. I don't really know what to do with him, Dan. You got the layoff here. You got the shorter distance. You got a horse who's never won a race on dirt. And because he's dropping out of grade 1s and grade 2s, you probably don't get a great price on him. I won't be surprised when he runs well. I'd have a tough time betting him.
The number 6 is Hidden Stash. This will be his first race on dirt since the 2021 Kentucky Derby, where he was in too tough against Medina Spirit. He was multiple graded stakes placed at Tampa Bay Downs in their Derby preps last year. He returned off a lengthy layoff with a couple of good races on turf, and maybe that just legged him up to get him back on the main track.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. If he's going to be a big price, I wouldn't argue too hard with anybody who wanted him here. I do like them coming back to the main track with him. I didn't love him as a 3-year-old, Dan. I did think he ran, okay in some of those Derby prep races. And I certainly feel like there's a chance he could start taking steps forward. If you like him, you're probably supposed to bet him. He's going to be a good price in here.
Laughing Boy is the number 7. Now, he won at Keeneland last fall at this distance with a similar trip to what's projected to him on Wednesday. The problem is the pace of that race wasn't as fast as it's likely going to be on Wednesday, and maybe that'll take the starch out of him. I liked how he won that race. I thought he ran the best race of any when he was beaten at Churchill last time out, simply because he did all the dirty work up front. He is going to have to deal with a layoff in here and other speeds.
Yeah, I mean, that's what worries you about him, I guess, then is just that the pace scenario could really work against him. I liked the direction he was headed in, though, at the end of his 3-year-old campaign. I really thought he was getting better like you. I thought he was way the best in his final start of the year there. He just took too much pressure on the lead and couldn't survive. McPeak had this horse entered in a stakes race at Gulfstream Park a couple of weeks ago. He scratched him. He turns up here in an allowance race. I suspect he's going to be very tough in this race.
Pirate's Punch is up next. He's the number 8, and he's seeking his first victory since the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile back in 2020. He is exiting a live race in New York, going 1 turn. I think he's better in these 2-turn middle distance races personally. But again, 2 next out winners. Doubly Blessed came back, ran a 91 in one of those starter stakes in New York. Milton the Monster came back, ran a 97 buyer speed figure in an allowance race at Laurel. Pirate's Punch has the tactical speed where he can sit 3rd, and I don't think he has to get burned up.
That's what I liked about him, too. I do think he's going to be forward, but he's shown tactical speed in the past. So I think if they go fast in front of him, he can just take up a spot and just maybe sit off of those early leaders before he makes his run. There's just plenty to like about this horse. The more I looked at the race day, and after I got done handicapping and I sent my picks in, the more I looked at it, I felt like I made a mistake here. I should have put this horse in there somewhere because I feel like you could actually make the argument he's the horse to beat in here.
Let's watch Winter Pool, the number nine's most recent start. It was an entry-level allowance race at Aqueduct, and he ran away and hit. Now, his last two victories have come at the mile and an eighth distance, and I wonder if that's his preferred trip at this point, but there was nothing wrong with this race. He got a very good trip tracking the two leaders, and once he made the lead, it was all over.
Yeah, just dominated this field. He had run really well in his prior start back in January, Dan. He settled for second as the favorite that day, but he ran a good race. And he just had no problem dispatching of this field. It's not a good field that he's beating here. Johnny Pump, who was second, is, more like a claiming type of horse. I know King Kumbale is in really good form right now, but he's not, necessarily the class that Winter Pool is going to be meeting up with here. He's in good form right now. I'd be reluctant to take too short a price on him.
As paired up by our tops in his last two races, might have the right running style for this race, has hit the board in 7 of 9. Ghost Lore is coming into this race in career best form for Ian Wilkes. Heck, he started his career, 0 for 16? Well, he's a winner now, and he's a big winner. He's won 2 in a row very, very easily. Let's watch his last start at Gulfstream Park on March the 12th. Now, this race over a sloppy track going a one-turn mile, but he takes over heading into the stretch, and they're not getting anywhere near him.
No, they're not. He wins this race very easily. Listen, I can't argue with the form he's in right now, and I think he's another one who could fall into a little bit of a trip here, even though he's got post 10. He's got enough speed to get forward and maybe land a spot in this race. I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty significant step up in class for him, but he's obviously improved.
Before we get to our top selections, I want to remind everybody that hasn't done so already, please subscribe to the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. Simple. Just click on the subscribe button and you'll have access to all of our latest videos. Let's take a look at our top picks for the Wednesday DRF Race of the Day. Mike, it's a really competitive field. Stage Raider, the brother to Justify, going to take some money. This horse has shown a lot of ability, and I think he's shown a lot of class for a horse that's so lightly raced.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend betting this horse at any kind of short price because this is a good field, Dan. I just think he's good, and he had so much trouble off the layoff last time that I'd be willing to give him another chance here. I like him. Again, as I mentioned before, I probably should have put the 8 Pirates Punch in there. He's not in my picks. I'd like to swap out that 9 and put the 8 in.
I had a tough time in this race. I want a horse that can come from off of the pace. Militarist can do so. He's going to get Lasix again. He's obviously been facing tougher horses, and he's going to be a good price. This is a good barn, but it's also a low-profile barn, and he's facing the Chad Browns of the world. Militarist, 6-1 in the morning line with Jose Ortiz. Hoping he can run late. 5.94 for me, 4.795 for Mike. It's the Wednesday race of the day at Keeneland. Best of luck.